Well, here we are. We'll see who shows up since I'm all last minute and nobody even knows that I'm here. I just decided to come on through because UA says I'm first for once. That's too funny. Oh, look who's there. Look at my background. Today we're in Paris. I decided we're going to do a world tour. So, we went from San Francisco the other day. Now we're in Paris, France. And I'm thinking about going to, I don't know, Dubai one day soon, maybe tomorrow. And, we're just going to make the rounds. We're going to check out some stuff, okay? Bonjour, mon ami. We'll do like, go to Trinidad. Okay. We gonna go to a whole bunch of places. This is our journey um, around the world. We're gonna do it right here without leaving the comfort of our homes. But you guys, I'm telling you, I saw something today. Well, actually, I saw a couple of things today that made me want to get on and have a little chat with you because this shit was scary. Um, One of the things I saw, I have a Facebook page called This is Blackest Tan, and it's kind of a depressing page. So if you are easily triggered by criminal acts of violence and that kind of stuff, do not go do not go on that page. But what it is, I started a couple of years ago, and there's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 women that helped me, keep it up because I'm in so many different things. I can't really concentrate on just one thing. But they are very good about finding stories where these knuckleheads in the black community and as well as some white ones in the Latino community are doing horrible things to women and children. And that's basically what that page tracks. It's like a warning site because I just have found that black women are just too trusting. They all on this king shit and all black men are wonderful thing. And this site just shows like around the world what men do and how they treat women. They don't care. Okay, yeah, I want to do. Actually, I have a site for Venice, so that's gonna come on. Yeah, this is Blackest Tan, and that's the name of the page. It's some depressing, unbelievable shit on that page. So you guys, might want to check it out. Negativity. Hey, Beverly. Hi, Precious. UA was the first one in the chat room. She must have got that notice and was like, click. But I want to talk about something I saw online. I mean, I'm going to go through a couple of things, but this is not really like a planned topic. This was just something that I saw online in a news article. Well, actually, 2 news articles that I thought might be relevant because so many people ask me about online dating. As you may or may not remember, I am not a fan. I'm just not. Every time I've tried it, I had, set up a profile. I told you about the guys about the time I pretended to be a young white male, based on this little guy that I was working with at the time, and all the ways that those women were just like so desperate. Oh, you're in Paris? I'm so jealous. Jealousy. This is my jealous face. You met your husband online? Really? Well, I never met anybody online but gorillas. So, girl, you met him. You know what I mean? Actually, I know a couple of people that met their husbands online, but they were on this site called JDate. It's especially for Jewish people, and they were so cute. These were my clients, right? When I used to be a personal trainer, and they were like, they didn't even understand what they were saying, but that just shows you that they wasn't into the racial thing at all, because they just thought I was the best trainer in there, so they hired me. And then so the wife wife to be comes in and she says, "Oh my God, you have to meet my fiance and this and that and I said, well, where did you meet him? She said, oh, I met him online. I said, what, really? And she's like, oh yes, you should get on that site. I said, well, what site is that? And she says, it's JDate. I'm like, JDate? I never heard of it. And she says, yes, there's lots of guys there and they're very smart and they're all successful and wealthy and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, that got my attention. I'm like, well, why the fuck have I never heard of this place, right? So I go home, after our training sessions, I had like back-to-back clients for about 5 hours. So it was a long time before I got home. And so I log on, I'm looking at JDate. And I found out that it's a site for Jewish singles. Now I don't have nothing against Jewish men, trust me. I mean, from the Jewish guys I've known, they seem to have a pretty good idea about what marriage is and family and how to treat your wives and all this kind of stuff. So I don't have no problem with Jewish men. I was just shocked that she sent me to a Jewish site and she didn't even she was so when I taught her next train, because I trained her on Tuesdays and Fridays, so I saw her on Friday. I'm like, did you realize that's a Jewish dating site? And she's like, oh, well, yeah, but so. And I just, the sweetest lady. And she was my client for the whole 12 years that I did personal training. I just really a wonderful person. So the guy who married her, he was a lucky guy. And, I met the both of them. They were just wonderful people, wonderful couple. And I was glad that they met each other. But that's how they met online. In general, though, for black women, it is not that experience is not similar. So what I saw today was a story of a guy who had been going across the country, meeting women online, black women, and torturing them and killing them. That's what he was doing. He got they were hunting for him for one woman. He had killed a nurse, and then they were hunting for him, and I guess he got spotted or something. I don't know. And they found him in a hotel room with another woman tied up where he was getting ready to do the same thing to her. So they have him on, 2 murders and an attempted murder, but they think there may be as many as 7 or 10 more victims. They're not sure yet. So this brother was going around the country killing black women that he met on online dating sites. If your scene's frozen, refresh your browser. That's what that means. Yeah, it was kind of a trip. Yeah, you might have to refresh your page. Mine is showing pretty good, but I'm not using Chrome today. I'm using Edge, and it seems to be it's responding a lot better. Even though YouTube is supposed to be optimized for Chrome, I don't know. I haven't had good luck with Chrome. Every time I use it, I have some problems. And I don't know. This is Edge, and it seems to be working pretty well. I can see myself. It is not flickering or anything, and that's that's an unusual experience for me with using YouTube. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to use this. You can't hear me. Well, the mic's on. I can see myself. That means it's broadcasting. So if your screen is black, get off of Chrome and use a different browser. Get off of Chrome and use a different browser. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, Firefox is good. What's the Apple one? That's good. And I'm on Edge tonight, and that's working. This is like the best stream that I can see so far. But let me tell you about what I read. Where's that article? Okay, I ran across an article where a guy, and this happened over in the UK, and this is another case where a woman was killed by a man that she met online. And a judge who was sentencing this guy, his name is Miles Donnelly. This was from over in the UK. But this lady was beaten and strangled to death after he met her. So the judge was like, uh, ladies, and he was trying to warn the women. Okay, this woman had a 5-year-old son sleeping in the next room, and she had invited some dude over after she met him on an online dating site. She was desperate for a relationship, they said. The guy was sending, explicit messages telling to her and then telling her, I would treat you like a princess. So he kills the woman by stabbing her 13 times and then left behind his underwear, socks, keys, and a picture of his daughter. Okay, so he had a daughter, but he's over here murdering over somebody else's. So it turns out this was some crazy looking white boy, and he had a history of violence. Of course, she wouldn't know that. She was anxious to meet, a new partner and have a new relationship. And, so she decided to do some online dating. So the prosecutor told the court after a psychiatric assessment that this guy Donnelly had a psychopathic personality. He was lying, he was manipulative, he was easily able to gain her trust and get her to agree to invite him to her house. But he had extensive criminal history, especially when he was drinking. He became violent, of course, but again, she wouldn't know any of this. But this is a perfect example of a woman who was just a little bit too trusting, and it's something that she really shouldn't have done. Let me see here. I'm trying to find the article I saw where the guy here it is. This guy posed as a woman, and I thought, okay, this is just fascinating. Let me tell you guys, he was also in the UK. Oh my God, he killed his girlfriend's 18-month-old and had killed his own 7-month-old. See, you guys, and people say when I say that, you can't trust these men. You cannot trust these men. And I mean, you can't, you bring them in your house, you bring them around your kids. I mean, I know a lot of women, you really want to have, yeah, he was white. The one who I'm talking about, though, who was the one who killed 7 women that they just caught yesterday, he's black, and he was only killing black women. But the first story I told you where the guy, stabbed a woman 13 times, he was white. She was Indian, like Hindu Indian. And I think the video that I did yesterday when I talked about how to be a challenge, one young lady on the wall under that video was saying how she was disappointed in that video, that it seemed like just one of those, how to get a man videos and all this stuff. And I was trying to, explain to her that you must have not really listened to what I said, because the first point that I made on that video was that a woman must maintain her sense of independence. And so but she was saying how she was triggered because some boyfriend she had was I don't know, whatever she was talking about. But basically, she didn't really listen to the video. She felt like she was triggered and flashbacking on her own issues and not really paying. She didn't hear what I said. She heard what she wanted to hear because she was, basically running it through the filters of her own personal relationship, which didn't have anything to do with what I actually said. So that was kind of interesting. But let me tell you about this dude who tried being online as a woman. Because you know how guys always think, oh, you women are just talking like that. You're just saying those things. Those things aren't true. You guys over exaggerate. Those guys were just trying to be friendly. Those guys were just expressing to you how beautiful you are. Those guys would maybe be accurate or whatever, but they didn't really mean anything by it. They make all kind of excuses for the behavior of these men, and a lot of women buy into it because you're thinking, well, maybe I am being too harsh. Maybe I need to be more, forgiving. I need to be nicer. And so guys discount our reality and they kind of poo-poo it and tell us that we're making too much of it and that, we're too sensitive. I mean, they say all kind of things that basically dismiss your reality and tell you that what you're telling them as your actual experience isn't really meaningful, because that it can't be that way. They don't even try to hear what you're trying to say. So I got to give this guy credit, because after he heard his female friends talking about all the creepy dudes online, and he didn't believe it either. So what he did was set up a profile of himself as a woman. And let me go over what he wrote, because it's extremely interesting. What's up? Yes, take it as a compliment, right? So let's talk about this dude for a minute. Okay, so he says, sitting on the sofa one night, my girlfriend indulged in a spot of online shopping. Meanwhile, I'm being cyber sexually harassed by a 30-year-old IT worker from Chelmsford. Remember, this is in the UK, who's asking me if I like to be dominated. He wants to get me drunk and look at me while I stay naked in front of him. And so then the guy shows a picture of himself, looking like, it's too funny. And he's a 46-year-old posed as a girl named Zara to see for himself how men really behave on online dating sites. So then he says, I've known this man for less than half an hour, and he thinks I'm a girl called Sarah, not a 46-year-old man. So then the online person says to him, I'd run a finger down your spine from neck to the bum, then down the inner thighs, he writes. Let's meet. Meanwhile, a 19-year-old student who's I've known for 15 minutes is promising, quote, something sex-citing. Then, when I don't answer either one of them, they bombard me with insistent messages. In the background, scores of other men ping into my inbox. Some are polite, but most have a very loose grasp of the rules of social decorum. After an hour of this skin-crawling onslaught, I have to log off. So then he asks, well, why do these misguided creeps believe this is an acceptable way to behave? Women ask themselves that every day. Why do they think it's okay to touch us in public and rub their dicks up on us and harass us and call us names and command us to smile and all other shit that men do? So he says, pale-faced, I turn to Stephanie and I show her some of the messages. She sighs and tells me that's normal. I feel genuinely ashamed to be a man. And so she says that he says that this whole process started when a few months back, when he had a conversation at a pub, that's what they call a bar, with some of his friends, and one of his female friends was sharing an experience that she had with the guy that she met on a free online dating site, and he said that he was a widowed dad and worked as a chef. And she said after several months she discovered that not one word that he said was true, and that all the women in the group group of friends that he was meeting said that for online dating for women is a random lottery of weirdos, and at worst is dangerous, and he thought they were exaggerating. See what I'm saying? They always think that what we say is not true, that our experience is a joke, that we're lying, we're magnifying it, that it can't be that bad. And so he wanted to prove them wrong. That's the whole reason why he set up this profile. It wasn't really to see to validate them. He wanted to prove them wrong. But then he got he got a reality check. And he says the messages that he got ranged from, are you looking for fun, to a more direct, can we meet? I was pressured for photos too. I replied to each with general chit-chat, but within minutes I discovered that a simple hello could be misconstrued as a full-blooded yanking down of the knickers. No social niceties, just straight down to business. And so he got to experience what we do every day. And so like a lot of men are like, well, you could at least say hello. I said hello. This is why we don't say hello. There's no benefit to us to say hello to you. It's a risk to us to say hello to you, because you might be one of these idiots that's going to just take it to the next level and become ridiculous, saying nasty things or thinking that you're going to have the right to touch somebody. So he concluded that these guys became pushy and misogynistic, and it doesn't matter, as the worst that can happen is that they get blocked before looking for another victim to harass until some poor soul succumbs. It's a pretty depressing state of affairs, and ladies, on behalf of men everywhere, I can only apologize. So that was something that I wanted to share with you, because I thought, wow, this I thought it was great that someone actually, that a guy actually put himself in a position of trying to find out firsthand what women are talking about, but he went into it with the belief that he was going to prove us wrong, but he ended up within 20 minutes. I mean, he couldn't even stand it. Within an hour, he had to log off. This is our lives. I mean, every day from the time we're 10 or 11 years old, this is the shit that we have to deal with. I thought, wow, this is pretty amazing. So you guys who can do online dating, I got to give you your props because I can't do it. Yes, he was very shocked and disgusted, appalled, disturbed, disheartened. I mean, he used all kind of adjectives, but he ended up saying he was ashamed to be a man because women are going to look at him and think he's like these guys because he's a guy, just like they are. And that's the part that he found so disheartening. It's like a decent dude, just looking at him, we're not going to know just looking at your exterior if you're a knucklehead, a sociopath, a narcissistic idiot, or a decent dude. We're not going to know which one of those, where you are on the spectrum, just by looking at you. We have to, talk to you and spend time with you, and inevitably 99% of the dudes showing themselves to be one of the in the knucklehead, the narcissistic, sociopath category, and then there's that 1%. Or yeah, that you created for yourself with the law of attraction. The law of attraction is straight bullshit. I wish I thought of that shit so I could have made all them millions. You got people, because you got to remember the mentality of most people is that they love feeling guilty. They love guilt. Oh my God, they just want to absorb all the guilt. Everything is their fault. And I can't decide if that's some kind of narcissistic behavior or if they truly are feeling guilty. But guilt is a word that does not exist in my vocabulary. I'm not trying to be guilty about nothing. Because either it was an honest mistake and I have no reason to feel guilty about it because it was an honest mistake, or I did this shit on purpose, which I'm definitely not going to waste my time feeling guilty about because I wanted to fuck you over. So either way, in my world, there's no reason to feel guilty. So that's something I don't really be bothered with. Yeah, that's right. That's what it was called, The Secret. Yeah, this is a lot because you get all these people like, feeling guilty. Well, why? Because they right here. They right here. Well, I attracted, why do I attract this kind of man? And they're feeling bad about themselves. See, that shit impacts your self-esteem. You cannot think like that. Why not think that person with that evil fucking driven ass sucked you in like a spider does to flies? That's what really happened. You were just like, da 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 da, walking through the world because you haven't spent enough time on this channel wising up. So then they just snare you in their trap. And you sitting up there thinking that it's something that you did, when reality it's what they did to you. No, you don't feel guilty and you never feel ashamed about nothing. I'm telling you, it's all up here. And once you decide that, you have to decide how you conduct yourself. I know I'm an asshole sometimes. I understand this. I fully accept all of my faults because those faults with those really wonderful parts of myself make me who I am. And my friends and family love me in spite of the things that others might define to be a fault. They just like, that's just how she is. She crazy. they don't really worry about it too much. But, if you have people who can accept you the way that you are and love you anyway, well, that's full acceptance. That's what most people want. And you don't need to feel bad about yourself for that. You don't need to feel upset or, overburdened or guilty ever about anything that you do. Stop doing that. You have a 6-year-old brat harassing you? That's cute. 6-year-olds are adorable. When they turn 7, they turn into like little, demon spawn. 7-year-olds are just a trip. 5 and 6-year-olds are still cute. Thank you. Yes, we're in Paris today, Aisha. We're in Paris. You notice the Eiffel Tower back there. If being real makes people think you an asshole, so be it. I agree. I agree. I don't, I don't know. I just don't worry about it. I don't even think about stuff like that. I just be me. So I don't know. This was the thing. I wish I could find that story about, okay, the guy. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Man arrested for online dating murders. Let's see if I can. Oh, here it is. 47 minutes ago. And you know this brother, he's a nice looking guy too. I don't know what his problem is, but he was just stupid. Okay, I wish I could show this to you, but I'm not using a software that lets me do that. He was 27. I'm going to put the link in the chat though, so you guys can go to the same page and see the same thing that I'm on, that I'm looking at. This is the page. This is the dude. 27, and he's got those empty eyes. I don't know what happened to dude. But he says he's suspected of killing a nurse, raping another woman in New York. He's going to be arraigned on Monday and charged that he assaulted and tried to kill a woman in her North Hollywood apartment after they went on a date last weekend. Daniel, what kind of name is that? Is charged with 1 count each of attempted murder, forcible rape, false imprisonment by violence, and penetration with a foreign object involving the alleged attack last weekend. So this is someone who hates women. He strangled a woman and refused to let her leave her apartment. So he was in LA, but he had already killed somebody in July in New York. So he made it across the country to to kill her. And they're saying that he met her through an online dating site, and they really suspect that there were other women that he victimized as well. So that's that's the story. And if you do a search for men who murdered women that they met online, you'll find all kind of stories. So y'all be careful out there. Don't be just so trusting, bringing these dudes to your house and going off to hotels with them and stuff. That hunger, that need that a lot of women say that they have, they just have to have some dick. I'm like, you better get you a toy and just call it a day. This is silly. Yeah, see how he's a nice looking dude, but there's something wrong with him. First of all, when people have them weird names like that, parents, stop naming your sons some weirdo, fucked up names. Something's always wrong with them, because they just can't fit into society. And as much as we hate to admit it, this is where we live right now. This is how we live, and we live in a pretty much Caucasian dominated society. So when you have names that are really weird and spelling all strange and all this stuff, unless you get a job with the government where you test really well and stuff, and it's a more equal testing field, even though it's not totally equal, it's more equal, because if you pass high up on the test, you'll get an interview and get a chance no matter what your name is. But you try to go into private sector and they see all these weird spelling, la, does, and dans, and all this old shit. They know that you a nigga. They know you got some ghetto shit going on in your family, and they just toss your resume to the side. And that's, people like, well, that's racist. What you want me to do? Am I the one just going through the resumes? I'm just telling you what you're going to experience and what your kids are going to experience when you give them all them old ghettoized, fucked up names. Give your kids some normal names. Make their middle name the ghetto name or something, so they can just say, instead of his name being Daniel Wall or whatever his mother named him, she could have named him, I don't know, Michael Daniel Wall, whatever. Okay, so then he could have just been Michael D. whatever. And then on his official documents, he could have put all of that. But nobody in his work would ever notice that's his middle name. He would just be Michael D. or just Michael whatever, without using the D at all. So, people have to think about that. Yeah, you might think this is cute and you want to name your kid all these special names, but you got to look at what your kid's going to be doing with that name as they move forward. You ain't going to have no president named Daniel Wall or, Shaka or nothing of that shit. It's just not going to happen. So you need to think about that kind of stuff. Yeah, he's crazy. Yeah, I'm telling you. And he was saying something. It may have been a joke, Crystal, But it's true. Having worked in corporate America, now that's unless you're gonna start your own business. But even then, you got to be careful because a lot of people are not gonna want to hire you because of your fucked up name. They want to say give a recommendation, and you don't want to put your sign out there that redesign this building or this is your landscaping company or something, and you got some old fucked up ghetto name where your parents made it up and combined letters from 16 people in your family to come up with some name for you. And nobody can spell your name, nobody can remember your name. Your name looks crazy on paper. It's 18 syllables long. Why are you doing all that? People are be trying to be creating some kind of they want to feel special, they want to feel unique. Okay, but you don't do that with your name, you do that with your performance. Your ass could be named Joe. Okay, but if Joe is the shit, then Joe is the shit. And Joe don't have to get his sense of who he is by having some crazy name. Joe is the shit because Joe does what he needs to do, impresses people. People respect Joe. Joe is a stand-up dude. Joe got an education. Joe makes some shit happen. Okay, so you can name your child not Tonisha. Shut up. Shut up. No. Well, I remember there was one called what was it? Don Quisha or something like that. See, no. Why do people do that to their children? And you got people laughing at your child's name. Don't do that. You're not going to have somebody named with who's, Tonisha LaRae Jackson Esquire. Who going to hire her? I don't want my attorney that's going to be trying to win me a case named Tonisha. No. I'm sorry. No, she did not name that child Tonisha. Zara is not boring. Zara is a beautiful name. It has a sense of romance and fantasy and imagination to it. I like that name. I have a cousin named Xavier. Xavier. And it may seem like it's not a very common name, let me put it that way. But it's not a name that you can necessarily identify as being a hood rat name. So he's been able to walk a path and do some shit. Noxzeme, I know that. That was one of what's his name, Joseph, the little dude that got in so much trouble a couple of weeks ago. That was a joke he made. Yes, Zora Neale Hurst. Exactly. But Zara, I think Zara's prettier than Zora. Honey, I knew a white girl when I was down at school, going to University of Houston, a white girl named Keisha. She was something else. And she would tell you in a minute that her mother, the boyfriend that her mother loved the most, had a sister named Keisha. And she loved that girl. She wanted to marry that man. And he was like, I can't marry you white. But she said, if I ever have a daughter, I'm naming her after your sister. And that's what she did. So she named her, the little white girl, Keisha. We was all like, what? Because every time you heard, Keisha, whatever her last name was, it was something like White McMillan or something. Some name that was really, you couldn't really tell that she was not black. But, you meet her and it's like she all blonde haired and blue eyed. And we're like, okay, all the black people be looking at each other like, what is this? What's going on? Who named this child Keisha? It was just a trip. And so then she was telling me the story. I was rolling. Her mother was she did get some interesting looks. Well, whatever, LJ, you have the right to change your name, or you could drop the law and just go by the other part. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'd say everybody's in agreement. Zara's a beautiful name. I don't know what she's talking about. Her name is boring. Girl, please, stop that. Eggbert is spelled Egbert, actually. It's Egbert is the European spelling of it. Not eggs like a dozen eggs, MP. Y'all need to quit. Not Greg Quenisha. You stop it. See, And I bet you she working at Walmart. because that is about as far as that name is going to let you go. Yeah, Eggbert sounds better. I always wanted to name, if I had a son, I was going to name him Marcellus. I always thought that name was sexy as hell. It just had like a strength to it and just was like, bam! Because you could shorten it down to be Mark, Marc, or the whole name would be Marcel. I'm telling you, it's your girlfriend working at Walmart, Bonquisha. I don't know, but I just, I think it's something I think ghetto names attorneys in Atlanta. Well, there you go. Where are they? Atlanta. They better stay there. They ain't gonna make it on the West Coast. Not with that name. Exactly. Marcellus always sound like somebody. I don't know. I just always liked that name. I don't know why. I don't know nobody named Marcellus and never met anybody. But I decided if I had a boy, that was gonna be his name, and he better live up to it too. But maybe that's why I never had one. Shit, one kid was enough for me. Oof. I don't know how y'all be having 2, 3, or 4 or 5. Can't do it. It sounds Greek. Yeah, it might be. I don't know. I never actually looked it up. That's a good idea. I never looked it up. But I think people should, consider that kind of stuff and make. Don't just think about what you like. Think about the long-term repercussions of the decisions that you make now that are going to impact your child's options. Because I'm telling you, it's just really hard when okay, maybe in Atlanta, because we all know Atlanta's like country anyway. So, well, whatever. But, what you do in like big cities like LA, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Philly, places that will put you on a map and that's connected with international law firms and stuff, where they have branches in Paris, London, whatever, and Sydney, Australia, all this kind of stuff. You're going to be a partner. They're going to put your name on the letterhead and shit, and in the marble engravings and stuff. Bonquisha ain't going to be up there. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. What? He would walk around in cut off jeans that were so short no place would let him in. Oh my, he was showing all his talents. Yes, Atlanta is country and ghetto. I went there one time. That was enough for me. I was like, oh my God, this place is a zoo. What in the world? And I thought I had never seen so many gold teeth in my fucking life. I was like, this is worse than Texas. I don't know how y'all do it. People who want to live down there and stuff, and all them gay dudes walking around all prissy and stuff, and it's like, I don't have nothing to do. I don't have no problem with gay men. But the problem I have is when they be doing all of this and they have their mouth like this. I don't like that. What you do in the privacy of your bedroom is fine, but do you need to just be doing the most in public, drawing all of the attention to yourself and just overdoing everything? I don't like that. No, it's not worth it. Not to me. You might have some other, if you bi and you a male, that means you gay. Don't be tripping. Don't be trying to do all that. You fucking a man, your ass is gay. Now you want to put it, you can put frosting on it and call it whatever you want to, but that's still, once you touch another man for sexual gratification, your ass is gay. You ain't bi and you ain't ambiguous or fluid and all these other terms they use. Your ass is gay. You're homosexual. Just face it. And maybe for some variation you like to get with a woman every now and then, but the fact that you will fuck a man makes your ass homosexual. I don't care what they say. My friend swears that's not the case. I don't give a fuck what your friend say. Your friend is delusional. Just like these men walking around here talking about they have periods and they a woman. Delusional fucks. Okay, that's just the way it is. People say a lot of stuff. My uncle used to talk about these people that he knew. He was running around in San Francisco during the hippie era. And he used to hang out with these white hippies, and he said one day the dude was up on the roof talking like he could fly, and they were seriously, believing him that he could fly too, because they was all high as Scooter Brown. And then he said after he realized that that man was about to jump off the roof, and because he really thought he could fly, my uncle said he stopped hanging around with them. And you know, that's I was like, delusional. And them kind of people will get you like all caught up in a bunch of mess, because they would all been brought up on charges like, why did you encourage him? Why didn't you stop him? You accessory to murder, because the dude jumped off the roof talking about he was gonna fly. It's, oh, the bi dude is dating a woman. You didn't say all that. Yeah, I mean, but I don't really care. Because I don't know, I had a good friend who was gay. I mean, Michael, I love Michael to death. And, that part I don't really care about. I mean, let people find love wherever they're going to find it. I don't really trip about, gay, lesbian, I mean, whatever you want to be. But I'm just saying, there has to be some clarity here. Because you like to switch hit for both teams, that doesn't make you anything. It makes you a man who likes to have sex with other men, which means you're gay. And then you occasionally dabble on some other field. But still, because you occasionally play golf, but your main sport is basketball, you still a basketball player. Okay, you just occasionally play golf. That's what's going on here. So, exactly. You doing all that butt stuff and all that stuff. Putting all, you're a gay guy. Just admit it. And I don't really care. It's like, but you ain't going to get with me, because I don't want to be with a gay dude. I want to do with, who likes women. So sue me. I mean, what you want. Yeah, they just want to be doing the most. What's Robert Simpson do? Weren't you here yesterday? We have a lot of repeat men here now. Yeah, butt stuff. I don't, I'm pouring me some more wine. I don't really like to say the words, because then it flags your videos as far as YouTube is concerned. So I'll be trying to, watch what I say. Well, I did a whole video on that butt stuff kind of stuff. And I explained, from talking to some plastic surgeons and some medical professionals, the serious risks to women's bodies for engaging in those types of activities. Unfortunately, a lot of young women go along with it because they don't have boundaries. So they in that mode where they want to try to please a man, and they're going to do all the stuff that he's talking about because they want to get and keep a man. And then what they end up with is needing surgery because they can't hold their poop in, and they shitting on themselves all the time. That's what's really going on. You need to stop letting men abuse your bodies like that. You guys got to get better about saying no and having boundaries. That's what I was talking about yesterday. Being a challenge. What's wrong with saying no? You're not going to treat my body like that. This is what my grandmother used to tell us all the time. That, she used to explain to us girls, and this was before all this stuff was even happening. This was decades ago, because I was really young then, maybe 13, 14. And my grandmother would sit us down and she would tell us stuff like, you only got one body. This is your one God-given body, because she was into the religion thing. She says your one God-given body, and you need to treat it with respect so it will, do well by you well into your old age. You'll still be able to walk, talk. You won't have to wear diapers, all the stuff. She went through the whole thing, right? And it was the kind of thing that, I took it to heart. So I really listened to her. And you said your health teacher told you that. My gay friend, Michael, the one I'm telling you about, told me that because he had to go out from work. I met him. We were both working at a law firm. And he was out of work for a while. Well, let me just tell you this story. See, because this is the kind of stuff like, I don't really talk about this stuff too much. But let me just tell you about this stuff. Okay, so I met Michael. Just the greatest guy. I mean, the biggest heart. Just the most wonderful person that I'd met in a long time. And he, was gay. And so at one point, he had to get surgery in his butt. So he was out of work for about 2 months or so, 3 months, something, a long time. But let me tell you what happened. Okay, so he, before he had to get the surgery, we went out for drinks and stuff, and he was telling me all the problems he was having with that particular area of his body. And he told me, the dudes are going to try to come up to you and they're going to try to, convince you that this is what you should do for them and all that stuff. This is a gay man now who was my friend and cared about me. And he told me, don't you ever let anybody do that to you. Don't ever let them do that to you because it's going to destroy your body and you're going to end up like me. And, I was still kind of young and innocent and kind of stupid, but I was like, okay, because I mean, it didn't sound, like anything I wanted to be bothered with. So he goes out and then he gets, the surgery. Well, of course, it takes months for all that to heal, right? He had to get all these stitches and whatnot. So he had to get an ostomy, where they cut, it's a hole in your side, in your intestines here, while that part heals, but you're eating, right? So the poop's got to come out somewhere. So they put this hole in the side and they put this bag here, and it's called an ostomy bag. Ostomy. If you want to look it up on the internet, do not look at the pictures. You will be grossed the fuck out for the rest of your life. But, if you want to read about it, yes. Well, that's, yeah, the bag, but the surgery itself is called an ostomy. But the bag, yes, colon ostomy, because it's takes the place of what goes on in your colon. So one day, Michael was back at work, and there was this Chinese buffet restaurant that we used to go to a couple blocks from the office. We used to like to go there, before he had the surgery. So then he says, oh, Deb, I want to take you to lunch. So let's go, to our favorite place. So we, you go up these stairs. This was in San Francisco downtown. So you go up these stairs, and then they had like a buffet line, and then tables in another room, past the buffet. The place was huge. So we go, you come to the top of the stairs, and the line to get to the buffet is actually on the stairs. So we finally make it up to the top, and we get our trays, and we start going through the line. I want that and that, this and that. And suddenly you could smell the smell of raw shit. It just smelled like, the whole room smelled like shit. That's all I can tell you. It smelled like poop. That's what had happened. His thing had emptied, into the bag. And since there's no muscles there or anything, it just happens. He doesn't have any control over it. It just happens. Oh, he was so humiliated. So we had to just leave. The people could tell what had happened because the smell, like everybody was doing this and stuff, and so we had to clear out of the restaurant because, people was like gagging and shit. It's funny now, but, yeah, you know the story. And, he was so embarrassed. I just felt like, oh my God, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it because I really, really liked this guy. He was gay. It wasn't like that kind of like, but as a person, I just thought he was like the best. And to see him be that humiliated, that just broke my heart. So we made it back to the office and everything, and he didn't bring any of his, his stuff with him, but he had this kit. So he had to go into they had made a special place for him to do all of this in one of the executive washrooms on one of the floors. It was like his spot. I think it was the 33rd floor. So then he went in there and, cleaned everything up and changed the bag and all of that. Hell no, I didn't go in there. You, Georgia, what's wrong with you? I'm his friend, not his fucking nurse. Don't get some shit twisted. And, he got everything cleaned up and stuff. And then he was too embarrassed. I didn't, I don't know. Do we even eat? I don't even remember. But, yeah, that was sad. I still remember that look on his face. He's been dead for many, many years, but I'm like... So anyway, he's the one who told me to make sure that I don't never let nobody... They can't even hardly touch it. So, I ain't putting your dick in it. because then I mean every time I think about what that man had to go through, and then he still ended up get with AIDS and still ended up dying anyway. But I mean he did get the surgery. I mean he got the surgery years before he turned up to have AIDS and all of that. But um, you get a lot of these dudes walking around like that. They walk funny. You see them racing off to the bathroom and stuff. Uh-uh. Yeah. I don't know. It was just sad. That look on his face, I just will never forget it. I was just, oh, so sad. But anyway, that's why I said I'm just adamant, when young women be like, well, I like it. I'm like, why do you like it? You have a coochie like that. There's no comparison, as far as that part of your body is made to handle it and the other part's not. You're destroying yourself in this misguided attempt to think that you like something because your man is a kind of freak, and from the back he can't tell that you're a man or a woman, so he just doing some shit that he could be doing to a dude, a dog, a cantaloupe. It's not like he's making love to you. He's just doing something to get his rocks off, and you just letting him do it and destroy your body in the process. So no, I hear my grandmother's voice all the time. If Jews want to do something to women, and they tell me about it, and I hear her voice, and it's like you shouldn't let him do that to you. You're gonna destroy your one God given body. You shouldn't do that. But they're gonna do what they want to do. Yeah, he be on some bullshit. Just like he always be on some bullshit. That's what I hear, Stephanie. That they always, be trying to, trying to have an accident and stuff. One of my friends from college told me that her husband basically, assaulted her like she was asleep, and he greased up and went all up in there. And when she woke up, she was bleeding, and um, so essentially, that was rape. That's what that was, and they were married. She called me crying and telling me about it. Told her to go to the doctor, get checked out and see if anything was torn, because she didn't, wouldn't want to get an infection and then, end up, having some kind of, uh, some kind of serious internal problem because infection spread or something like that. I mean, I didn't know all the medical terms, but I did know about, infections and how they can spread if you have, you get it in your bloodstream. You get some bacteria that's the wrong kind in your bloodstream. Your bloodstream goes off your body. It's going to carry the bacteria to other places, and you could end up with some massive internal infection. I do know that part, but as far as where it might land and what kind of infection it might morph into or anything, I don't know didn't know those details then, and I still don't. Oh yeah, they ended up getting a divorce, but and I was glad she divorced him, but I'm telling you, I just something wrong with these men. It's just something seriously wrong. No, she didn't report him. She went to the doctor, and I think she was so shaken by it that neither one of us thought of it. We were still young. I hadn't been out of college that long, and she got married, right out of college, and I was still, fucking around doing doing what I wanted to do. But so we were too young. I mean, we didn't really know this stuff that we talk about now. I mean, this wasn't popular then. This wasn't really talked about. The porn industry wasn't real big on it. They were still doing like regular stuff back in those days. It become over the last 20 something years. They become more perverse. And so now things are a lot different. But at that time, you got to remember the time. And things were just not the way that they are now. So we hadn't been exposed to this kind of thing. And so, we would have never thought to even think about that kind of stuff. But I don't know where he got it from. Yeah, she got rid of his ass. But this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Young women, they headed off to college in a week or two or whatever, and they need to understand, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to be running into. You have to have your self-esteem tight, so your self-confidence on hit, so that when they start rolling at you like that, I mean, because, people go to college and they think, oh, this is the time for me to be wild and free away from my parents, and I can experiment, I can do all this stuff. You better get your shit together and learn how to use your words and say, hell no. Hell no, motherfucker, we not doing that. And then have your stun gun or whatever to back your shit up. So, somebody gets to acting stupid, you just tap his ass and watch him shake out. But it's like, I said no, and that's what I meant. And you just got to be careful. These dudes, don't be trusting all these dudes. Do not. So, it's just different. Like when we were in college, you could do all that stuff. Just be a wild fool if you wanted to. I mean, the most you might get is, a little touch of gonorrhea or something. But now, I mean, you get AIDS, you die. I mean, herpes. I mean, I saw a picture. One of my friends worked as a sex educator, and would go around the schools and different community things and all that stuff. And he had these big old pictures, with close-ups of people's genitals with all these sores and shit, so that people could see it in the back row. That shit was nasty. And he had a picture of somebody that had genital warts. It covered from her stomach all down her thighs. It was the nastiest shit I've ever seen in my life. I was just itching like it was so gross. And but see, that kind of shit scares me, so I don't know. Yeah, it took a fast turn, but this is the kind of stuff that I think a lot of young women need to hear. They just be going through life, thinking that it's like in the fairy stories and stuff, and not handling themselves with any kind of sense. No they're not protecting themselves at all. Exactly. All kind of stuff. So you guys know. You look. I hope somebody's watching. These little young women be watching this chat. Yeah, because gonorrhea you can get rid of with some pills or a shot. It wasn't like some shit is gonna take you out like this stuff now. It doesn't make you have to get surgery to repair body parts. That's what I'm talking about. You pop a couple of pills and the shit's over. But it's not like that these days. Now I heard they have like super strains of it that they're antibiotic resistant. So even that is little option is not really there anymore. Shit done got real. You know what I'm saying? So that's this kind of conversation. A lot of young women don't have these conversations with the women in their family, and so they may be hearing this for the first time. Exactly. It's like women were supposed to be nice and kind and say yes and be placating and pleasing to other people, because that's what makes you a quote good woman and all this kind of stuff. That's what makes you a sucker. And then you end up all fucked over and trying to figure out what happened. So, and this shit that you catch now, I mean, this shit is with you for the rest of your life. So if it may even shorten your life. So y'all better be careful. I'll be on my daughter's ass. It's like, I know you think you gonna be doing all the shit, but let me tell you, you better slow your roll. You want to be around for a few years. This shit have taken people out of here. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. I mean, not this last part. I don't know how we got on that, but I think this is also a part. It's kind of connected with the online dating and the risks. So in the big umbrella, that's what we're talking about, online dating and the risks. Now we started by talking about the risks of being tortured and murdered, and then ended with the risk of having some kind of uncurable STD or worse, or the pregnancy by some fool that you don't really know nothing about. I mean, there's all kinds of problems that you can have as a woman by exposing yourself to too many different men. In this day and age, things are just different now. So y'all got to weigh the risk. You do what you want to do, because I always say that. And you grown, you make your own decision. My job is not to tell you what to do and what not to do. My job is to point out the risk of making certain decisions, because sometimes people don't think about the risk. They only think about the benefits, or they don't really know the risk, because somebody's been feeding them some garbage and brainwashing them to think something else, and they don't really know the facts. So there's all kind of things that, could be at work here, but that's why we talk about this stuff. And try to make these young women aware as they get ready to head off through college. Y'all, you headed into adulthood, and it can be fun and all that stuff, but it comes with a lot of possible risks. So you better pay attention to what's going on, and you need to think about what you're doing. Don't just be dropping your drawers, be jumping around with any dude, because some of these dudes are nasty. These dudes be like dipping and dabbing with other dudes and be doing all kind of stuff. Before they get into college, and they might not even be a college student. They might just be somebody who hangs around the college, and you think they're in college because they're around that right age. But there's a lot of people that just go to colleges because they're stalking the co-eds. That's all they want. So, they want to get some co-ed coochie. They're not trying to be in school or nothing. They live in the area. So you guys be careful. And you parents, make sure your girls know the risk. Don't just send them off there, all being all brand new and shit. Like, they don't know nothing. Just trusting everything that they see blindly. Don't do that. Give your girls some tools so they can make it through college in one piece and come out on the other side and do great things with their lives. Give them some tools to be successful, because they about to run into some fools. Okay, this is the reality of the times that we live in, and that's just the way it is. All right, so you guys, tomorrow I'm supposed to do my stream on Twitch. So if you, but I do like online, I do dating advice questions over there. Some of them have sent in some questions, so I keep those separate from the YouTube ones because it's a different demographic. So I keep their questions separate so they can hear their answers on the Twitch. So if you don't have nothing to do and you want to join in that chat, that's going to be at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. So what is that? That's 7 if you're on the East Coast. So this will be a little bit early for you. And I'll deal with them over there talking about their dating issues. Yeah, you can get a box of condoms, honey. I used to buy mine at Costco. I think you get like 48 condoms. It used to be some cheap price, $10 or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But, it used to be Price Club, and then they bought, they became Price Costco. Now it's just Costco again. But, yeah, you can get like a whole big old, like, industrial size box of condoms. You could make it rain with condoms for your your friends and stuff, and $10, $12 or whatever. But that's what you got to do. Yeah, it's just a lot going on. And these men, a lot of them don't really have any kind of boundaries in themselves. They just like jump into bed with anybody and anything. And you guys gotta slow down. Like some girl was writing, talking about some dude she'd been knowing for 3 weeks, and when is it too soon to let him move in with her? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You shouldn't even be thinking about no shit like that. Who is this clown? What does he stand for? What is he all about? You can't know possibly nothing. So she's like jumped way ahead, months ahead, years ahead into living together when she's on this group for 3 weeks. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you thinking about? Yeah, vending. Well, yeah, they've been had those vending machines. Well, at least in California. Shower. I want a motherfucker to bathe in some fucking bleach. That's like, I want you to kill everything on you. You need to be crispy. I don't know. But anyway, yes, I'll be on Twitch tomorrow. And then I'll be back here. I don't know. When the mood strikes me, something just gets my attention. And then I want to talk about it because it's scary. Like today, this topic was scary. Just because it fell just on the heels of what we were talking about online dating. That's why it got my attention. Yes, honey. Alcohol, bleach, Pine Sol, Lysol, all them Sols. All of it. All of them. Because they just be doing the most. They just be having stuff on them. And just, yeesh. All that. Whatever it takes to make sure that he don't have no kind of things crawling on him or growing on him. That's what I'm saying. Twitch is actually like a gamers channel site where they live stream games. But there's young people there that are college, high school, college, and even some older ones. That's a perfect demographic for what I'm trying to do. And they're primarily white, of course, and but they're the right age group. And so what I'm trying to do is expand my reach into the minds of other young people who need some guidance. And so I started a channel over there because they have one called In Real Life IRL, and my channel is there. If you want to go on Twitch, it's twitch.com/Debsterism, just like it is here. This is youtube.com/Debsterism, but over there it's Debsterism, and I'll be streaming live there. It's not as colorful because I'm not really up on the rules there. So I'll be watching my language, but the information, it will be good. And like I said, I'm targeting a different, um, yeah, I'm targeting that demographic. So the little gamer kids, and they be trying to date and whatnot. So getting themselves in trouble just like everybody else. So especially a lot of them are geeks, and they probably don't have really any dating knowledge. So I think it'll be a good place for me to be. That's what I think. So I'm still working on it. I've only been on there for 2 weeks, and I've done 2 shows or something. But anyway, something I'm going to work on building up for the next few months. And so if you are a Twitch user, please subscribe to my Twitch channel, Debsterism, and then try to join me for some discussions. And then we'll see how it works. So I hope you guys enjoyed looking at the Eiffel Tower and the city of Paris while we chatted today. And I will see you guys real soon. Probably maybe even as soon as Sunday. All right? Take care. I'll talk to you soon.